Welcome to another episode of Humanly Plausible with your hosts, Roly and Richard from the Pink Collective.
Welcome back to another podcast of Humanly Plausible.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
What is the word, Richard Rich?
Everything is golden. Everything is gravy. You know what I mean?
What do you got to report for this week?
Just a lot of work.
What's new? What's new?
What's new is a lot of crisis in the world, but we're trying to stay positive here. That's what we do. And, we're moving through our week and trying to, keep moving forward. That's what it's all about right now.
Keep moving forward. So, let's see. One of the biggest things that we have going on now is naming the box. So let's come up with a name for it right now because there's so many things going on with this box. Apparently it has powers that we do not know where they're coming from.
Yeah, it seems we just had a guest right before we taped this one that it's just uncanny. Whenever we have somebody pull something out the box, it's something relevant to what we've either been speaking about or something that's very relevant to what they do. So we're really...
Maybe we should just leave it to the fans. So we just, right now we have the magic box, What else?
We just call it, out of the box.
Out of the box.
But, I don't know.
Maybe it's just the black box.
Maybe it's just supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be a name because it has these wonderful powers. I don't know.
So, like in airplanes isn't it the black box?
Black box, yes.
And then that black box is kind of the reporting of the flight nav.
Yeah, they have the recording device as well as the audio recording device.
Maybe that's what this is.
Yeah,
the black box.
So, anyway, are we gonna go straight to the box today and see what's what?
If you got nothing else, yeah,
let's do that. Let's do that because I'm feeling real good about what the box has to bring. So you go ahead. You take it out. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Elsie, grab one.
Yeah, we're gonna have Elsie. If you can't see her, she's in the background supporting us. But today she's gonna bring her magic to the box.
All right. So she has picked one. For those of you that don't know Elsie is Lauren. She's a new hire now for it's been 3, 4, 5 months.
I can't even call her new anymore.
Yeah.
I can tell that's my handwriting.
Yeah. Oh, what? This is the one we got last time. Oh, no, we got to pick another one.
Oh, okay.
No, what? No, all right. I got to pick another one. I must have put it back in the box. Sorry, this was a technical difficulty. And Elsie happened to pick the one. All right, here, pick again.
Because that's what she does. She troubleshoots what...
It's okay.
When we have an error.
This is not a perfect show by any means.
Not at all. We're not trying to be... Okay. That's...
Oh, my handwriting. What is a brand influencer? Do I really need one?
Oh. Well, I feel like we've had this discussion.
We've had the discussion because typically we talk about team members being brand influencers. So let's define it first. So define brand influencer.
A brand influencer is someone that's going to be outspoken as a representative of your brand. They're going to be an enthusiastic, raving fan who represents your brand specifically on different platforms and is your public face and your public cheerleader for whatever product or service that you have. There's a whole industry now for brand influencers. It's amazing because I am of a certain age, a mature age. I'm seasoned. I'm trying not to use the obvious words. And it's just fascinating to me sometimes as I'm scrolling through TikTok.
Nicely aged.
Yes. That these random people are getting paid so much money just to, promote a product. But it's based
and we can't even post on social media.
I know. I mean, I'm just like, wow. They have millions of followers, and if you ask them, well, why is this person so popular? People can never really tell me what got them to the point where they have millions. They used to do makeup tutorials, but there's so many of them. So when I think of those brand influencers is one thing, but I know we kind of have a different take on your most valuable brand influencer, which would be someone within your organization.
Yeah, I mean, I think let's call it external, internal influencers. So the external influencer doesn't particularly work at the company. It's someone that is paid by the company to be a positive influence for the brand. There's companies that do need those like maybe you have a new product and a lot of people don't know. So what's the fastest way to get to an audience? It's like, let's use an audience already out there that back in the day we used to do via direct mail. We would buy a list.
Right.
And then in that list, so in this case, we're using a brand influencer to tap into that audience and leverage that audience to really put a product out there that connects with that audience. That's the other part too. Right. It doesn't make any sense if they don't relate. But then there's the internal. So if, a lot of times when we're working in our discoveries and going through just kind of meeting with the executives, we start to see that there's just some dysfunctions. And sometimes you have employees bad-mouthing executives or employees bad-mouthing employees or executives bad-mouthing employees.
Right.
And so that's where we start to talk more about the internal brand influencer and how they can change an organization for the good or bad.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really, when I think about it, it's not as much a new phenomenon. I mean, the term brand influencer, I think, emerged with social media and really captured the fact that you could not necessarily be famous, but we're contracting you to be this external influencer because of your following, because your following has the demographic that we're really targeting. We know that when you say something in your world, in your ecosystem that you've created on these platforms, what you say actually matters to the people out there. It's kind of like when I was growing up, the big thing was celebrity endorsements, I would eat a cereal or ask my parents to buy me a cereal based on, I just, when you saw an athlete, a famous athlete, promoting the cereal, because in your mind you thought, well, if he has it, that means it must be great. It must make me strong. I'll go to the NFL if I, eat this cereal. So I think that's kind of how celebrity endorsements morphed once the age of social media came, where people didn't necessarily have to have celebrity status per se. They could just create a following and then be utilized as these external brand influencers.
And it kills me because I'll be watching like some of these shows and then they have, it's so-and-so, huge influencer of like 5 million people, and I have no idea.
I have no idea. I've definitely surrendered.
It's a different time.
It's a different time. I'm not in their target audience because they have these things where, they'll show up like in New York at these places, like a convention or something like that. I know some of the young people that might be watching be like, that dude is talking like he's 90. But at the end of the day, they had these conventions with all these influencers, and man, they got to shut down streets. People are pounding the doors to get in to see them.
And we have no idea who that is.
I'm like,
what's going on, bro? Where are we?
What's happening right here? What's going on?
Where's Michael Jordan?
Yeah, and just, but I think today's brands and today's companies, they probably spend a good amount of time looking at, who would be a good match in terms of these influencers, because if it didn't work, I don't think people would keep doing it. And if anything, I see more and more of it going on.
Yeah, and nothing's changed. It's just different characters, obviously, because advertising will always remain advertising. Yeah. Like, you're still going to have to execute the same way, just different tools now, obviously. Right. But, in the question, do I really need one? Well, it depends. It depends on what you're pushing.
I got a question for you. So it's a spinoff of this question.
Okay.
As a consumer, do you think as a consumer you place more value on an endorsement or promotion from an influencer who's being paid to do it, or a user testimonial?
That's a great question. No, I mean, typically, for the most part, a lot of the audience, the average consumer doesn't even know some of these people are getting endorsed. Obviously, besides the big names, but there's a lot of like in the middle, in between influencers, where people really don't even know they're getting paid. But to answer your question, yes, I would always honor. I mean, I would always be more trusting when there's an actual testimony from a user that is not getting paid, because obviously it's organic and they have no reason to do that.
There's not. Yeah, they have nothing to gain per se.
But a lot of companies are doing so many different things. So like beyond just cash payments, their product. They're giving people different products. Which is like for triathletes, I know firsthand that they do offer different, like companies offer, their clothes or their gear because all that's expensive.
Right.
Like an average, like one of these kits for cycling is like between $300 to $500. This is like free, a kit, clothes.
Right.
It's like buying a cheap suit.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, I understand. So I mean, I'm just.
But why the question? What is it? What's in?
I don't know.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I guess maybe
where are you going
once
with
again,
that?
I'll go back to what I started saying earlier. Being of a certain age, you become a little bit more skeptical and cynical. And I'm just interested because, and once again, I am not in the demographic that has these brand influencers talking to me. So I don't know what that feels like or sounds like. Because, and then again, something? Let me stop.
Go ahead.
I just realized I am a victim. I just realized right now that I am a victim of an influencer.
Who?
Big Ron Jones. He does workout videos.
Oh.
And I started taking Alpha Lion supplements because
great. Now you just plugged another.
I'm so sorry. I'm just
handing out free advertising.
I just had to. I had to be honest about an actual influencer. I don't look at him as an influencer because he gives workout tips. And I watch it. And you know what? I just realized that's how good of an influencer he is because I didn't even realize or look at him as an influencer because
you connect with him.
He doesn't always market products. He is usually just telling you how to better utilize your time in the gym, how to change your nutrition to match your goals. And so here
you go. Firsthand, you've just realized that if you're going to use a brand influencer, you got to use one that really connects to your audience. And how Richard just pointed out, if it's very, like, what's the word? It should be seamless. It should be a seamless fit. But at the same time, to add to that, even like some of these paid influencers, they also have a lot riding because it's their brand. And so like if they're going to endorse a product, they have to really believe in it too. Because I mean, we live in a canceled generation. Like they could be canceled and their whole career is done.
Yeah. Depending. Yeah. You're 100% right. And I don't think they would risk that. And I think there's a certain credibility with someone who you can know was doing what he was doing before he had the opportunity to be an influencer for a product. Right. So that his authority in that space was already established before they got to the point where they're. And I think it goes back to, this whole concept of if an influencer is only selling a product, I don't know if that's as effective as an influencer that's really giving you other things of value and every once in a while coming to you with, this opportunity to get this product or use this service or whatever the case might be. So if Big Ron Jones, we're going to tag you on this. Maybe you'll come on the show because obviously you're so good of an influencer that I didn't even realize you was an influencer and you got me.
Oh, yeah. Well, and especially with the popularity of TikTok. I mean, it seems like everybody's an influencer. My neighbors are like, it is the craziest. So my neighbors have like these, they have regular jobs.
Yeah.
Like, and when I mean regular, like corporate America, 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. But their hobby is to, I forgot what, it's a clothing line that they just try on like different clothes and they talk about it.
I've seen these type of things on TikTok and I don't understand them.
And the reason we found out because they have stuff sometimes sent to our house because if they're away, yeah. And it's like boxes and boxes. So me, the nosy neighbor, I'm like, what is going on here? Why do you have like 50 boxes here?
So they get paid just to try on clothes and show people what it looks like? That's not a bad situation, man. Not a bad situation.
If you're listening, Richard is looking for another job.
If you have some cool looking clothes that you'd like a middle-aged man to try on,
But you see, that could be a thing where
I see that. But to me, I feel like that's more organic.
We don't have a big audience though.
Yeah.
Not yet. If you would have like 2 million followers, trust me, everybody would be,
Yeah.
They'd be all over you right now. Oh, next time you show up in the podcast, you got to wear an Armani suit. Well, here I know. It's another plug.
Armani, Alpha Lion, they owe us some money at this point. We're going to tag you too, Alpha Lion, and maybe Armani as well.
So in conclusion, what the heck?
I still like ultimately, I still like the fact that no matter if you're going to use an external influencer or not, you should be prioritizing making your internal team, the people that drive your product or service, your most reliable and enthusiastic brand ambassadors. I think that should be just part and parcel of good internal management and the internal culture. But clearly, those influencers have a place in today's world, and as the landscape has changed, you have to meet people where they are and how they want to be met. And there's certainly a lot of effectiveness with this whole brand influencer thing.
I agree, and I want to add to that, and I think that first and foremost, make sure you do have the right internal brand influencers before you go out and you start paying the external brand influencers, because again, it makes no sense. You're out there, people are plugging you, but internally you're a disaster.
Yeah.
So one where those two will end up colliding anyways, and at some point they just won't make any sense.
Absolutely.
So with that, thank you guys for joining another podcast session with us here, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Well, we don't see you, but you know what I mean.
Take care. All right.
Come on now.